were just talking, we being Sam and I were just talking, and Amy, who you do not see in these, but she's doing all the work on all of these podcasts. We got a special 3-part series podcast, 15 digital tools every church needs. And we're bonusing 2 in the context of all of these 15. So 15 plus 2. We started with the basics, then we went to the helpful, and now we're going to look at some of the newer things that are out there. Or even if they're not new, they have aspects of it that would be new. And we're going to be talking about those. Before we get into that, we want to thank Churchteams. We've been talking about church management software systems. They are a full software suite for managing all things that keep you up at night. So when you think about the things you need to be keeping up with in the church teams can do it for you. They can let you do what's most important, making disciples and building teams. They have a lot of features in it. The one that we're featuring in the features is the text to church feature, where you can just put in the word like give or VBS or Bible or check in, whatever the case may be, and it'll engage you right in the life of your church. Incredible feature in the Churchteams church management software. So visit churchteams.com/answers or text answers to 817-677-9850. And if you did not pick up on that, you can see that in the show notes as well. Sam, let's look at some of the newer. Now, this does not mean that it hasn't been around a while, but many of these are being used in new ways or they have been improved. So that's why we call it the newer. And the first one is right off the bat something that over 2/3 of churches did not use before the pandemic, and that's live streaming software.
Yeah, it has become a lot more popular. And for many churches, it was a lifeline. That may be too strong a word during the pandemic, but many churches stayed. Their services were not gathering in person, so this was hugely important. Really in 2020 and into the early parts of 2021. We do something a little different than live streaming at West Bradenton. We pre-produce our services, but that camera setup is very important. And one of the things that we learned to do to produce our services was actually use a teleprompter. And there's like an app on the phone or an iPad that enables you with a mirror to use a teleprompter, and it was world changing for me when it comes to being able to present a sermon online. And so we pre-produce our services utilizing my notes are there on the teleprompter, makes it very easy to read.
Cool. We'll probably be using more of that at Church Answers.
We already are. You just don't know it.
You're exactly right. So live streaming software, and to Sam's point, you're exactly right. There were tools that were used that were not necessarily streaming it live, but recording it and then showing it later. And so even if you are live streaming, the likelihood is you're going to record it to show it later after the live stream. So that point is well taken. How about project management software? Do you have a preference? I know I do.
Yes, I do. Monday.com. And we now utilize Monday.com for all of our major projects at West Bradenton, including guest follow-up and care follow-ups. So we mentioned in the previous episode about note-taking and making lists and things like Google Keep. And when somebody asks you to pray for you to write that down, and Google Keep would be a good tool for that. We now input that data into our project management software, which is Monday.com. And the great thing about it is you can see where everyone is in a particular project, and nobody slips through the cracks. So every guest gets inputted into Monday.com for us. And then we have several markers of communication methods. Did they get a phone call? Did they get a letter? Did they get an invite to a group? And the people that are the gatekeepers of that person, because you can assign individuals to each part of the project, you can assign individuals to each guest. That gatekeeper then goes in and updates the system as they go. So you can see at all times whether a particular staff person has followed up, whether a particular guest has received the right communication, or somebody who has care needs or prayer needs, whether or not we've written that follow-up letter, or whether or not that person has received what they need. So I find project management software very helpful. We did use Teamwork for a while, but it was so robust that it was a little much for us. I find Monday.com to be a better tool for the church, although there's probably some churches that are using Teamwork well. But Monday.com seems to work very, very well for us. It's color coded. It gives you these red notes when you're behind. You can click on your own tab where you see your own work. You can see everyone else's work if you're an administrator. And it's got an app. It sends you push notifications and emails if you get behind on something. So I absolutely love project management software. It has been revolutionary for our team, and our assimilation rates have gone up because now we are communicating better with people
Hmm.
and nobody's slipping through the cracks.
For you baby boomers, in case you forget that, remember the Mamas and Papas, their song Monday Monday. It was 1968 when they wrote Monday Monday and sang Monday Monday. And what is really amazing about that song, it was their only number one hit on the US Billboard. Many people would have thought it'd been California Dreaming or something like that. Monday Monday was their only number one hit. So, Sam, I have helped my fellow baby boomers remember Monday.com with Monday Monday.
Okay, well, no one tunes in to hear us sing.
Oh,
Um,
you'd be surprised.
but
Sam, I use a very simple. I use a simple software, and I use it for a simple reason. My project management software is Trello, but it's not a classic project management software. It is more of a reminder system of what I need to do. That's how I use it. That's what I should say. I use it. I use it as a reminder for the projects I need to do. It does not break it down into components for me. It has more functionality than I use. But when Amy, Christina, Jana, anybody on the team wants to make sure I get something done, they throw it into Trello, and I check Trello every day to make sure I'm getting things done. So mine is not robust. Mine is simple, and it just for me, I just use the simple functionality of almost a to-do list that others can access as well. So
yeah,
that's mine.
Trello would be less robust, but if you're looking for a very simple solution, that's an excellent one as well.
16, 15 tools plus two that every church needs. Church news. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean keeping up with what is happening in the local church almost in real time. Things are changing so much. The world and culture is so transformed, not always with good things, that if we're not keeping up, it'll only take us a few weeks to be behind. There are plenty of resources out there to keep up with church news. I have a subscription to Christianity Today. I just use the digital form of that. I have a subscription dealing with church budget issues, and it goes on and on. But if you want local church happenings, my prejudice is showing, but there's no better place than to just get the daily feed from churchanswers.com, because every day we're presenting things that are happening in the local church that we're hearing from local church leaders that need to be communicated to the rest of them. So I'm biased, Sam.
Well, I am too, but I think Church Answers Central, which is accessible with any of the membership levels at Church Answers, gives you that ground level news almost immediately. I mean, when things happen in the world, it's going to post at Church Answers Central, and you're going to see a lot of interaction with 1,900 people, 1,900 church leaders. So I would say Church Answers Central. You get that with their silver, gold, or platinum memberships at Church Answers is a great place to be. If you're looking for a free solution, one and a little more work than Church Answers Central, but I've created Twitter lists. So I actually follow people that I think provide good news that's worth reading. And I've created a list in Twitter. Twitter enables you to create those lists. And I can now access that list and see the feed of just those people. So a couple of times a day, I'm actually getting into that Twitter list and looking, and actually access it through Hootsuite, which is another way to kind of view Twitter and utilize Twitter. And I see what they're saying, and I read those articles. So I find people that I trust, and then I put them in the Twitter list. And usually, the news hits Twitter before it hits anything else. So you're often the first to hear something. And then for those that you really want to know, you can actually sign up to receive push notifications on your phone. I know many people would not want their phone cluttered with a bunch of push notifications, but I have a couple of people that I follow that I enable that feature so that I can be the first to hear something. So another, not only Church Answer Central, but also Twitter lists is a good way to be keeping up with religious news, happenings in the world of theology, and then happenings in the world of the church.
And not just Church Answer Central, which is the more robust and it happens on the moment, but just subscribing to churchanswers.com, where you're going to get a daily dose of information about the church. That'll be another way to keep up.
Oh,
So,
sure. I mean, we deliver daily content for free. So
yes.
if you are interested in receiving that daily content, you can sign up for our email list.
Number four, analytics. Google Analytics has been around a while, Sam. We're putting it in the newer because there's some people that are newly discovering it, and the features get more robust all the time.
Yeah, the thing about Google Analytics, so I mentioned, I believe it was in the first episode about, in this special series, about checking your address, making sure that you own your own address on Google. And you go, if you can just type in your church name, it should pop up. If it's not claimed, if that address of your church is not claimed, it'll say, you'll get some sort of notice, are you the business owner? You click on that and you walk through the process. It's actually a snail mail process, which is funny to me. But that's how they ensure that that they've got the right people. And then what you can do once you're the owner of that address and the website, Google then will present to you analytics, and they've got an app, obviously Google Business, which it'll tell you weekly, how many people called by searching for you online, how many people uh, ask for directions to your church, and it'll tell you whether you're up or down. And clearly you can follow things like how many people are viewing your website, which pages on your website are they going to, what exactly are they clicking on. Google Analytics is very robust. So I would say it's good to track, it's good to know, in terms of the things that Google offers. It's also free, so there's no reason not to do it. Google clearly has some paid levels as well, but you can get access to the Google Business stuff for free. The other thing that I'll say in terms of analytics, and I'll kind of change it just a little bit and say demographics. So maybe this particular point is analytics and demographics. You've heard me say many times, if you've tuned into our content, if you don't know your community, you can't reach your community. And one of the things that we've created at Church Answers is a Know Your Community report, which tells you the demographics and the psychographics of the people around you, with drive time, which is a very useful way to know who your mission field is. And I can't tell you how many times I meet church leaders and pastors, they couldn't even tell, how many people live within 10 minutes of your church? How many people live within 15 minutes of your church? They can't, they don't know. Well, that's just one data point of many on 40 pages, almost 40 pages of information that you get in the Know Your Community report. So we'll put a link to the Know Your Community report in the show notes as well. But
By
certainly
the
sign
way,
up for,
it is our most popular tool by
yeah,
far.
yeah. So sign up for Google Analytics, Google Business, get all that done for your particular website, for your address of your church, and then order a Know Your Community report to understand the demographics of the people around you.
Video meetings. Zoom is not the only way to have a video meeting. It is by far becoming the most well-known way to have a video meeting. It really accelerated its growth during the pandemic, but I got a story about Zoom. Uh, I was at the time the CEO of Lifeway, and we had a building that occupied 1.1 million square feet. And we did an estimate of how much square footage we really needed. And it was about 300,000. But we said, what if we built a building of about 250, 270 in that range? And I just simply said, I think we're headed in the direction, particularly at the time with technology people, where we're going to have more people working from anywhere. We didn't call it WFH, working from home. We called it WFA, working from anywhere. And so early, way before the pandemic, we started training people how to use Zoom and how to work from anywhere way before the pandemic. We were such an early adopter of Zoom. It was before they went public. I wish I had been on the initial public offering, but it was before they went public. And we had such a tight relationship with Zoom at that time, they started stealing our tech people. One, I'm going to work for Zoom and I'm going to make twice as much as I was at Lifeway. But we trained people, Sam. We actually had training modules. We had mock ups of working at home or working from anywhere. And we would train people how to do that before that was even a thing. And so when the pandemic did hit, that was a company that was really ready to work from anywhere. Zoom's the big one, but I'll turn to you and see if you want to comment about Zoom, if you want to comment about any others like GoToMeeting or any others.
Yeah, I've used some of them. I find Zoom to be the best. I wanted to love Google Meet because it's integrated into the calendar, but then Zoom got integrated into Google Calendars, and I really tried to like Google Meet, and it just wasn't as stable. I find Zoom to be the most stable. So if you are looking to jump into this world or thinking about which one's best, in my experience, Zoom is the one to use. Although by the time this recording hits, in a couple of weeks, there may have been 3 or 4 new ones introduced because that seems to be what technology does today. So if you're listening to this in 2024 or 2025, why? Everything's changed. Everything has changed now. So all of our recommendations are outdated.
Zoom is so ubiquitous that you can hear older baby boomers say, "Are we going to Zoom on that?
Yeah.
Is our class going to Zoom?"
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
kind of
it's
become
become a
that.
verb and a noun.
Yeah, Xerox, Kleenex, it's kind of become the word to use, which is good for the company. Again, we have no connection to Zoom whatsoever, but certainly glad to recommend.
We're going to throw a bonus in here like we did the last time. Digital leadership coaching. We have recommended in the past, and well, in a previous episode, not in the past, we have recommended in a previous episode that you make certain that your church staff has some type of community for church staff. It's lonely being a pastor, and it can be lonely in other staff positions. So we have recommended Church Answers, and particularly Church Answers Central, as this robust community that you can get into for as little as $9.97 a month. We also recommend Church Answers as one of the places to get digital leadership coaching. We have a group within Church Answers called our Platinum Group, and we're on 24/7 call for that group. We always meet with them monthly, but we're on 24/7 call. We have annual meetings in person with them. It's a very few of this, but if you have any interest whatsoever in this, go to churchanswers.com and click on where it says platinum. And we at the time, we right now when we're doing this, we have 2 openings for Church Answers Platinum. We keep it small for a reason. But Sam, we've had people at Church Answers Platinum in the digital leadership coaching ever since we've had Church Answers. I mean,
Years.
it
It's
was
been years
yeah,
now. Yeah.
yeah. We've got foundational legacy guys that won't leave us for anything, and we don't want them to.
No, our platinum group is really a joy. I don't say that lightly. I mean, it's an incredible group, and that digital leadership coaching that we offer and others too is really for many pastors. It's something that helps keep them energized and accountable and encouraged. What we try to do is, I mean, we're an advocate for pastors and church leaders, so we want to make sure that people stay encouraged. And the Platinum Group really does that well.
Exactly. You think of names like Charlie Moulton and Travis Smalley. I mean, you start going down the list of some of those legacy guys. They're just the platinum people are not just our coaching clients. They're some of our best friends now. It's been
Yeah, I
incredible.
mean, one of my good friends, Mike Rubino,
Mike Rubino.
who is now helping us with some projects at Church Answers. He came through our Platinum Group. Yeah, some of my best friends, best connections, people that I really enjoy have come up, and they all enjoy each other. That's the neat thing about the digital leadership coaching that we offer, and we have an in-person event too that comes as part of the Platinum Group. So
Yeah, this year, 2022, is going to be in Bradenton, Florida. And so you're listening to this on July 15th, or this was released on July 15th, I should say. If you want to get into platinum, you have the opportunity to sign up before the Platinum Conference and join us for that great time together at in Bradenton, Florida, Sam's hometown, and a place I like to spend a lot of time as well. So consider that. There are other digital coaching opportunities. We don't want to suggest we're the only ones. There are a lot of good ones, but obviously we're going to show our bias because we love our platinum clients, and we think that this is vital for the health of these leaders as well. Goodness, Sam, we've gone over 17 digital tools, 15 plus 2 bonus. And I think this series could be listened to again and again and again, at least for the next few months until we have to do it again and update it because things will change.
People
But
are always inventing things. Yes.
these are some nuggets here. These are some absolute nuggets. So
Yeah. And many thanks to Amy for keeping track of everything that we've been saying, and all of the links to these things that we've recommended will be in the show notes. So if you're listening to this while you're driving, and you're, like, I'm gonna have to re-listen to that and, write all the stuff down that they said, well, you know what, please re-listen to it again if you like, but go to the show notes. It's at churchanswers.com. You'll find them with our podcasts. And then you've got everything clickable there. So just want to say thanks to Amy. And also, Dad, we got to thank Churchteams, the reason we're able to do this and the reason we're able to make these recommendations. And boy, this has been very generous of Churchteams to sponsor this special series. I want to say thank you to them, the team, that they were able to do this.
Hey, and before you get off the thanks to Amy, tell her happy birthday. Tomorrow's her birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Amy.
Yes, she will turn whatever on July on July 16th. And Sam, let me mention this. One of our favorite platinum clients is now a full-time part of our team, Akeem Morella. He started off as just one of the foundational platinum clients, and now there he is, always in the background, but always helping. Some people
he seems to hang around a lot.
He does.
Akeem, we love you, man.
We do. And Sam, you're right. Thank you, Churchteams. Again, we've talked about a lot of digital tools, but remember the biggie in this is most likely church management software. Go to churchteams.com/answers to see what they offer, or text the word answers at 817-677-9850 and check out all of the features of Churchteams, because the reality of it is you're going to find many of these digital applications in Churchteams. So thank you, Amy. Thank you, Akeem. Thank you, Sam. And thank all of you listeners for being a part of this. A 3-part series, 15 plus 2 digital tools every church needs. Thank you for being a part of it. And we'll continue to share with you and provide information at churchanswers.com. We'll see you later.